Hello everyone, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and in today's video we're doing another prospect report. Now, we're doing this Monday instead of Tuesday, and that's because we have a podcast lined up for Tuesday, but not one for Monday, so we figured we'd give you guys some prospect content instead. And there's plenty to talk about. There was a lot of really awesome pitching performances, some standout offensive players, and there are a lot of things that we're going to get into in today's prospect report. But before we do that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, turn on post notifications, and if you want to listen to the audio version of this episode, make sure you check out Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating as well, we really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get into today's prospect report. The first guy I really wanted to talk about was Chase Hampton, who was the Yankees' 6th round pick in last year's draft out of Texas Tech, and he's proving to be one of the most exciting prospects in their system. The 21-year-old right-hander twirled in another strong outing where he struck out 10 batters across 5 1/3 innings pitched, allowing 2 runs on 2 solo shots and walking 2 more. Hampton's quickly becoming one of the best pitching prospects in the system, possessing a riding fastball that sits in the mid-90s and profiles extremely well for generating swings and misses up in the strike zone. Pair that with a strong slider and curveball and a changeup that he's still developing, and you have a pretty strong arsenal for generating north, south, and east-west deception for him to go out and get swings and misses. He tied his career high in innings pitched in the start at 5 1/3 innings pitched, which he set in his last start on May 21st. Among all pitchers in minor league baseball with at least 30 innings pitched, Hampton is 6th in swinging strike rate at 19.1% and 5th in strikeout to walk rate at 31.5%. Pair that with a 3.15 ERA and a 2.78 xFIP in 7 starts thus far, and this could lead to a promotion to AA Somerset soon. Will Warren continues to try to get his feet wet in AAA, and he turned in arguably his best start with Scranton. He had a 48% whiff rate, and while it looks like he had 4 runs allowed, only 2 of them were earned, and that was across 6 innings pitched with 3 walks and 8 strikeouts. Again, the big piece of information here is that 48% whiff percentage, as he led all of AAA in swings and misses at 21. Will Warren was able to get all 5 of his pitches going, using each pitch at least 10% of the time, and that includes his sweeper, sinker, slider, changeup, and 4-seam fastball. Now, Will Warren has an ERA above 5 in AAA, but that has a lot to do with his previous outing being terrible, tossing just an inning and 2/3 of 4-run baseball and allowing 3 home runs and 2 walks. He really bounced back in this start, and he brings his ERA between AA and AAA to 3.35 with 54 strikeouts in 43 innings pitched. Will Warren continues to be one of the most exciting prospects in the Yankees farm system, and I'm really excited to see how he continues to progress in AAA. He really does feel like a legit pitching prospect, with his stuff playing to lefties and righties, his health in good shape, and his command improving as he gets from level to level, something that guys like Luis Heel, Clark Schmidt, and Johnny Brito really struggled with and have prevented them from becoming full-time starters. I really do think that Will Warren is someone you guys should keep your eyes on, and there's a chance that he factors into the pitching staff at some point in the season, and he'll definitely fight for a rotation spot in spring training next year. With that being said, his former teammates down in Somerset have also been pitching pretty well, with Richard Fitz going for 6 scoreless innings and Clayton Beeter matching that with 5 scoreless innings of his own, and both guys are continuing to put together success. And while Richard Fitz has struggled with his ERA in AA, you feel like he's going to turn things around, and Clayton Beeter continues to be one of the Yankees' better pitching prospects. Beeter now has a 2.67 ERA and a 33% strikeout percentage in his 15 starts since being traded to the Yankees in that infamous Joey Gallo deal. He's still struggling with his command as he has 11.7% walk rate, but there's a really good chance that Clayton Beeter ends up having to make the transition to a bullpen role anyways. But this wouldn't be a necessarily bad thing, as Clayton Beeter can be a multi-inning weapon, giving you strikeout stuff in the top of the strike zone, and he continues to work on his breaking pitches so that he can have better east-west and north-south deception. The Somerset Patriots are playing excellent baseball after winning the Eastern League Championship last year, and a big part of that is Clayton Beeter uplifting their pitching staff. It'll definitely be interesting to see how fast the Yankees are going to promote him to AAA, but at this pace, he'll definitely find himself in Scranton at some point during the season. And speaking of guys who can get promoted, Everson Pereira is making an extremely strong case for himself to get promoted to AAA. He continues to have a really strong month of May, and in his last week in the series against the Detroit Tigers affiliate, he put up a 129 WRC plus, hitting 263 with a 364 OBP and a 474 slugging percentage. Pereira continues to have a dominant month of May, and now in his last 44 games played in AA, he has a 141 WRC plus and is hitting 298 with 8 home runs and 8 stolen bases as well. Pereira continues to impress the Yankees organization, and as someone who's on the 40-man roster already, the fast track to AAA doesn't seem too unlikely. After a rough week last week, Jason Dominguez bounced back with a 139 WRC plus and a 414 OBP in his series against the Detroit Tigers affiliate, raising his AA WRC plus to 115 on the season and giving him a 369 OBP and 400 slugging percentage. Now, Dominguez still is struggling to hit for a high average with a 207 average on the season and a 247 BABIP, but he is hitting 252 with a 400 OBP and a 141 WRC plus in his last 29 games played at AA. Now again, Jason Dominguez isn't hitting 290 or 300 or anything like that, but I don't really think that matters as much as him putting up a high OBP and slugging at a high rate. Jason Dominguez's process at the plate is really good. He's not chasing too much, he's staying within himself, and when he does make contact, he creates a lot of damage, and quite frankly, that's all I care about. We're trying to develop Jason Dominguez. The results at the major league level will speak for themselves. Nonetheless, he had a really strong week this week, and he's continuing to build a pretty decent season in AA, especially considering that he's just 20 years old. With this being our last prospect report in the month of May, we figured we'd do awards for the hitter and pitcher of the month in each level. Let's start out with low A, where our hitter of the month is Jared Serna, who had a 173 WRC plus, 8 home runs in 23 games, and also hit 323. He now has a 155 WRC plus of the season, and while he's the Yankees' number 30 prospect according to MLB Pipeline, I have no doubts that he'll rise up that list very quickly. As for their pitcher of the month, that's 2021 third-round pick Brock Selvage, who posted a 3.15 ERA in the month of May with a 20.5% strikeout to walk rate and putting himself at a 3.40 ERA in the season and a FIP under 3. Moving up to high A, we have Aaron Polensky, who in the month of May had a 165 WRC plus, 12 extra base hits, and hit 321, which actually lowered his WRC plus to 205 on the season. That's right, he was so good in the month of April that a 165 WRC plus in May was a down month for him. As for their pitcher of the month, it's obviously Chase Hampton. We talked about him earlier. He had a 2.18 ERA in the month of May, struck out 41.2% of batters faced, giving him a 34.1% strikeout to walk percentage, and he now has a 3.15 ERA in the season. He's going to be in AA soon. And speaking of AA, their hitter of the month was Everson Pereira, who had a 149 WRC plus with 6 home runs in 23 games, hitting 302 in the process, and striking out under 25% of the time as well in the month of May. Now, he narrowly just beat out Austin Wells, who actually started his AA season the month of May, and he hit 7 home runs in 20 games, but he posted 147 WRC plus, and he played in fewer games than Pereira, so I gave the edge to Pereira there. Now, pitcher of the month was a little bit trickier because they didn't really have a lot of strong pitching in the month of May, but Clayton Beeter is the one who stands out the most. As well, he had a 4.50 ERA, he had a 3.64 FIP, and a 20.5% strikeout to walk percentage in the month of May as well, suggesting that his ERA doesn't reflect as to how well he pitched, and one could argue that it was his start against the Boston Red Sox AA affiliate that really ruined his ERA on the month. Moving on to AAA, their hitter of the month was Estevan Florial, who had a 192 WRC plus, a 500 WOBA, and hit 9 home runs in 20 games with Scranton. He's still struggling with strikeouts as he struck out 33.3% of the time this month, but maybe this is the year that he finds something that clicks to major league level. As for their pitcher of the month, that's Randy Vasquez, who had a 2.81 ERA in 3 starts with a 25.8% strikeout percentage and a 2.52 FIP, also making his major league debut where he went 4 2/3 innings pitched of 2-run baseball, striking out 6 batters as well. He's starting to generate plenty of buzz around Yankee circles, and his stuff is a lot better than people give him credit for. We appreciate you guys tuning into this week's prospect report, and we hope you guys enjoy this prospect content. And if you do, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, turn on post notifications, and you can join the conversation on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. Again, the audio version of this podcast is on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you want to check out our written articles, they're on Empire Sports Media, where we cover all the New York sports teams, and we've got you guys plenty of fire content on Fireside Yankees with morning podcasts, post-game shows, and all that stuff as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Ryan Garcia, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.